So when you set them down in a pseudo sandbox, it's like they get lost and they're like, wait, what do I do? Because they're programmed to not really think, outside the box, not to think, in a more broad sense than a very narrow sense.
I think it's because nobody truly cracked the nut of accessibility in an immersive sim. We did pretty good with Dishonored, but I think we can do better, and I think that's really where it lies, the secret. I don't think it's so much about explaining what it is, but more like experiencing a good game. And I think already when you say, hey, this is an immersive sim, people are so confused, and you've already lost most of your potential audience. And I think in a way there are some games that are immersive sim adjacent, like Bethesda games. Like if you look at some of the Fallouts or the Skyrims, I'm very very much waiting to the next Elder Scroll. They have a lot of values in common with what people call immersive sims, except that they're a little more. I mean, first of all, they're RPGs. Even Zelda, the latest Zelda, they are start to really blur the line with immersive sims, but they are more controlled. They're super super polished. You don't have to confuse the gamer with some of the things that the immersive sim part does. You can actually, you're slowly immersed into it, and I think it's really a matter of presentation and massaging the game so that the depth shows to the player and appears to the player, but with a solid layer of comfort and direction so that we don't have this kind of situation where, you were saying that it's intimidating to you. One of you said that earlier.
It was Robert.
Robert. You said they're intimidating, they're daunting. There's something that you don't know if you're going to do it right. Maybe you'd make a mistake. You just broke a door and the entire city responded to it. It's like, shit, did I break the game? Maybe I should reload. And so we need to bring comfort to the player so that we remove that anxiety of the player of immersive sims are not for me, because I think what immersive sim have to offer is for everybody. I mean, we look at even super controlled games like GTA. The way they control it is that if you mission fail, then it rolls back and puts you out of the instance that they created for that specific thing. That's how they that's how they avoid all the pain that we have to deal with. You're in a city, there's everything is simulated, but actually if you break things, it will just reset everything, so nothing matters. To me, that's a huge punch in the nose of me, but I get it. It's what it means here, though, is that for a lot of gamers, that brushing the immersive sim experience is enough. They feel they love the surface simulation, the fact that some cool stuff happens and all chain reactions, etc., which is one of the values of immersive sims. So my point is, it's possible to enjoy immersive sims. I think what makes it hard is the jankiness of them most of the time, and the fact that they're very demanding. They're very
they're intimidating.
They're intimidating. It's here are all the systems, and it's definitely something we try to change, and in this new game that I'm working on with my people.
So viewers' questions. So Raphael, as you know, we put out a call for people to submit their questions for you, and we had quite the response via Twitter and Discord. So I believe
Discord's still blowing up right now, so let's not even worry about that. They're still going. Messaging me right now.
Alrighty, and you touched on this a little bit, but Jackie Axe from our Discord was saying, without numbers or specifics, of course, how would you describe the budget difference between a Weird West and, say, maybe your next game or the type of game you anticipate making in the future? And is there any game that we wouldn't expect that might have inspired it?
Oh, yeah, it is much more. Yeah, it's much more. For the team is. I think that's how you have to look at it. It's like in terms of team size. We have like 8 times more people or something. So
wow.
yeah,
8?
no, it's
wow.
Yeah.
That's a multiplier right there.
6.
That is quite a bit more.
It depends. It depends how you count, because there was a peak. There was like most of the thing. Then there were people that. So, but yeah, it's much bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
And the second part of his question was, without giving too much away, hopefully, is there any game that might have inspired it that might be, not a Bioshock or a System Shock or something like that might be a little unexpected?
I don't think there's I can't think. I mean, like things that inspire us are sometimes even us don't realize we're inspired. But I think some of what we are trying to appeal is we're trying to get the qualities of an arcane game, like Prayer Dishonored, and the quality of a Fallout, a New Vegas or kind of game, right? Like the Black Isle mindset, which then went into Obsidian and some of the companies. That's what where we're trying to aim for, and I think so far we're probably going to land somewhere there. So it's a first-person action RPG where there's dialogue and skills and all the action and the world design and the crafting. By crafting, I'm not saying player crafting, but developer crafted areas and stories and that you would find in a more like Prayer Dishonored.
Yeah, nice. That's pretty exciting. Alrighty, and then we've got a sort of a related question from Cane Saw Boy, and he asks, "Do you have a dream game that you would like to make if money and time are no issue and you could do it all your way?"
No, I'm working on it. It's every time every time I work on a game, to me it's more important that I do the game that the new game that I'm excited about. It's more important than the budget that I'm going to make it with, and what's more important as well is that I work with the people that I love and the people that I believe in, because it's so hard to make these games. It's so hard to make any game. And the value of a team that is well put together, that has worked together for decades, is I can't even start to explain how important that is, because that's where you make, that's where you waste money or not, basically, by keeping on redoing things a million times, or finding new people because the previous people did not work out, etc. That's very, very, very painful process, and I'm feeling super lucky that I work with a team of people that have been following me for decades and that are super good at what they do, and I rely on them heavily, and I could not do it without them. And that's the best part, is that we do that, right? So to answer that question, I always feel like I'm working on my ideal game, and specifically now, anyway.
Awesome. Well, we've got a pretty good segue on our last question to the more of a design philosophy, moving forward type of thing, or just from you in general, from your perspective. And so anyway, Hey Blondie's got a couple different sections to this, but they're all sort of orbiting around the same core ideas. So you don't have to answer all these individually necessarily, because they're all pretty related. But his question goes, how do you believe that Immersive Sims will evolve? Is evolution and innovation, even possible now? We've seen some iterations here and there. What ground is left untouched by Immersive Sims that can be explored? And do you ever see anything in the AAA space in its current state that would ever think about bankrolling something like Prey again?
I think, everybody speaks about AI,